This talk is called The Tantric Universe and the Destiny of Humanity. And I think you are all familiar with Anandamurti philosophy. So it's based on the Tantric philosophy of Anandamurti. But even in Anandamurti, well, in general, there's a lot of conjecture these days about the nature of the universe, where it came from, how it started, how big it is. Is it limited or is it infinite? Things like that. So I want to answer these questions according to the philosophy given by our Guru Baba. But also there is I believe there is misunderstanding amongst Anandamurti itself, what that philosophy is. So I also want to clarify some points according to my own understanding. Of course, my own understanding is not perfect, but seeing as I'm the one giving the talk, I'm talking according to my own understanding. I may be right or I may be wrong, but this is just what I understand. I want to share my screen, so I'll do so now. Okay. Can you see the Hubble Space Telescope view of the universe? Is that what you can all see? Okay. Yeah. So first of all, the size and form of the universe. This image, following the Hubble Deep Field image in 1995, in 2004, this image, which is the Hubble Ultra Deep Field image, was taken. And it was captured in 800 exposures over 400 revolutions of the Earth. So it took over a year for this photo to be taken. And personally, I think it's the they were looking at an area the size of a grain of sand held at arm's length, and they were looking at a part of space where they couldn't see anything. They thought it was empty, and gradually, over the course of time, they captured the light coming from these galaxies. These are all galaxies, different galaxies. So if you extrapolate the number of galaxies in this image, in that very tiny area of space, you get a minimum of 130 trillion galaxies in the universe, and an estimated 30 billion trillion stars. So I believe that this is the greatest space photo ever taken. Of course, now we have the Webb, the James Webb Space Telescope, which is supposed to be able to capture even more detail of space. But personally, I prefer the Hubble image. The James Webb Space Telescope has also taken a similar kind of image, but I prefer this one because it's visual light. The James Webb is infrared, so it's the image is an extrapolation of the infrared data, but this is the pure visual imagery from the Hubble Space Telescope. Now, the size of the universe the size of our observable universe has been estimated to be 93 billion light years. So just to clarify, a light year is the distance travel at the speed of light in a year. So you can imagine the immensity of the universe, where the observable universe has been estimated at 93 billion light years. And that's just what we can see with it, from where we are with our current science. Of course, it could be a lot bigger. Of course, this size is impossible to imagine. So I devised a size comparison. This is the first photo of the Earth taken from the moon by the crew of Apollo 8 in 1966. And this is the first full photo of the Earth taken on 7th of December 1972 by the crew of Apollo 17. Now, if we take the diameter of the Earth, which is 12,740 kilometers. And we do a comparison of the size of the universe compared to the size of the Earth, based on that 93 billion light years, which I mentioned before. The universe is 69 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 times bigger than the Earth. Now, of course, that's meaningless because we can't imagine what that means. But based on those numbers, what that means is that if we take the size of the universe to be this, if we imagine the size of our universe as being the size of our planet Earth, then the size of our planet Earth will be, does anyone want to have a guess?
A grain of sand?
A grain of sand, a lot smaller than a grain of sand. even smaller than a grain of sand. Actually, the size is the size of an average-sized atom. So you can imagine the Earth the size of an average-sized atom, which of course is minuscule, and then the universe will be the size of the Earth. So I think that helps to give us some idea of the immensity, the vastness of the universe. That means that, for example, our solar system is about the size of a pinhead. And our galaxy, that means it would take another pinhead away would be our nearest star, Proxima Centauri, of the Alpha Centauri system, which is actually four light years away. And then our galaxy, this is a photo of the galaxy taken from Earth. Our galaxy would be 15, by the same size comparison, our galaxy would be 15 centimeters thick and 14 meters in diameter. And it would take 100,000 light years to travel that 14-meter diameter. This is, oh, what's happening here? This is another photo of the galaxy, and this is the galaxy core. And this is an artist's rendition of the galaxy. Of course, we can't take a photo of the galaxy from outside the galaxy because we're inside it. But you can see that we're actually towards the far end of the Sagittarius arm. You can see the Sagittarius arm there, and you can see the position of our Earth. in that diagram. Our galaxy is a spiral galaxy, and our sun is one of about 400 billion stars in the galaxy. This is Andromeda, which is a similar, very similar galaxy, our sister galaxy. It's the nearest major galaxy, and it looks kind of like our own galaxy, the Milky Way. So it's also a spiral galaxy with about the same size. It's a bit bigger. And according to our size comparison, it would be about 300 meters away from our own galaxy. Actually, it's 2 million light years, but according to our size comparison, it's 300 meters away. And it's also, the Andromeda is also the most distant celestial object visible to the naked eye. If it were brighter, it would look, this is the size that it would be in the night sky, if it were brighter. You can see it by the naked eye, but it's very difficult to see. By the way, it's moving towards us at 300 kilometers per second, which means that it will collide with our galaxy in 4.5 billion years. So we don't have to worry about that. It won't happen anytime soon. Now, back to my favorite space photo. The distance to the center of the Virgo supercluster of galaxies, which is our local group of galaxies, would be 7 kilometers, which is actually 50 million light years. And when we get to then finally, when we get to the diameter of the observable universe, it would be the 13,000 kilometers diameter of the Earth, which would take as I said in the beginning, would take 93 billion years to reach. Okay. As I said in the beginning or before, that's only the current observable universe. It could be even bigger. But according to Baba, who, by all accounts, due to his spiritual power, was omniscient, he said that the universe is vast but not infinite. So we're talking about the size and form of the universe here. Let's take a look at some quotes about what Baba said about the size and form of the universe. Okay, the first one is, here he says, it may be, I have the references for these quotes from Baba's discourses. If you would like them, I can give them to you later. But in any case, let's just take a look at what he said. It may be very, very big, but it is not infinite. It is, and it is to some extent not exactly elliptical or oval shaped. And that is why in Sanskrit it is called Brahmanda. Brahma plus Anda. Anda means oval, or no, Anda means egg-shaped, and Brahma is the cosmic entity. So Brahmanda means that the universe is the oval creation of Brahma. Though this quinquelemental world is very large and extensive, it is not infinite because it is simply the collective evolution of the cosmic cheetah. Without doubt, it is limited. Just as each of the planets, the stars, and the heavenly bodies possess a particular shape, so also their sum total is not shapeless, because they are all the results of the mind stuff of the cosmic mind. This extremely vast cosmic mind stuff, which resembles the oval shape of the solar world, is known as Brahmanda. Anda means egg. So oval means, so here's just more quotes about that. As I've already, the express universe is, okay, so wherever there is form, it is of momentary duration and of limited demarcation. So it means that nothing which is physically manifest in this universe, including the universe, can be infinite and eternal. It has limitations of size and time. The same holds true for the cosmic cheetah also. This thought cycle evolved in the cosmic nucleus Purushottam is what is called the elliptical universe. No matter how enormous the cosmic cycle is, it appears to be elliptical, and thus it is called Brahmanda. So the created universe is vast but not infinite, and oval-shaped or egg-shaped. Now the duration of the universe. The so-called Big Bang Theory is one of the two main scientific dogmas of our time, that and materialism. If you take the current state of science, it has two really big dogmas. The first is materialism. It imagines materialism is the scientific theory that everything, that matter is the essence of everything. Matter is primordial. Everything, for example, consciousness comes from the brain rather than the other way around. And the other big dogma is the Big Bang, in my opinion. It imagines the universe with a beginning, like a child draws a line to represent the limitless sky, and that the universe is expanding indefinitely. Rupert Sheldrake talked about this beginning as the one free miracle of materialism. Now, the Big Bang implies a linear expansion from a single point. However, Baba said many times that movement is never in a straight line. It is always of a systolic order, always of a pulsative order. Vibration is always wavy, always systolic, always pulsative. Some more quotes from Baba to back this up. All movements are systolic. You all know that every movement in this world is systolic. Any work, any movement is of systolic nature, of pulsative nature. The movement is always pulsative. The movement is always of systolic order of pause and start. Okay, more quotes to back this up. Progress is always systolic, pulsative. Every action, okay. What is this universe? This universe is a collection of numerous waves of various lengths, not only the 5 inferences, tanmatras, but each and every manifestation of this universe is completely vibrational. Everything is moving according to a particular system. Nothing is linear. Everything is pulsative or systolic. The world of sense perception around us is vast indeed, but not infinite. It moves on the two principles of contraction and expansion. So, to my way of thinking, if everything pulsates, contracting and expanding, then why not the universe itself? I believe that not only everything within the universe, but also the whole universe itself is pulsative in nature, expanding and contracting on a vast scale of time and space, and that we are currently, because the scientific evidence says that everything is moving away from, all the celestial bodies in the universe are currently moving away from each other. So therefore, I believe that we are currently in an expansive phase, in a phase where the universe is expanding. And of course, these phases of the universe contracting and expanding are of vast proportions. billions of years for each phase. So you can imagine in the same way that anything else expands and contracts, the universe itself is also expanding and contracting, and we are currently in a phase of expansion. And furthermore, I think because Baba said, we'll get onto this soon, that the universe is eternal. I believe that the universe does not have a beginning or an end in time, rather it pulsates eternally. You can read more about this on my website, where I wrote a blog post called Big Bang, a Fizzer. You know, when you have firecrackers, we used to let off firecrackers when we were kids. And if it didn't go off properly, we called it a fizzer. In fact, the James Webb Telescope is, by the way, the James Webb Telescope, its launch and deployment was a complete success after years and years, I think about 20 years and something like $10 billion. It was launched a couple of years ago and it was very successful. Everything worked fine, which is great for science because, for example, right from the beginning, it started disproving the Big Bang Theory, which is great for us. How did it start disproving the Big Bang Theory? Well, for example, it recently identified 6 large developed galaxies up to 10 times larger than the Milky Way. Only 500 million light years away from the supposed Big Bang. Now, that, according to the Big Bang Theory, that's impossible because mature galaxies, would have needed a lot more than 500 million years to develop. So there's evidence like that is disproving the Big Bang. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is, I don't know if you know him, he's probably the most popular astrophysicist in the world. He said that the James Webb Space Telescope is identifying objects in the dark ages that, by best measurements we have, are large, fully developed galaxies. So who ordered that? Who ordered that means that no one predicted that, and it can't happen according to the Big Bang Theory. And the degree of expansion of the universe is also in question, because up till now, you know, with the current estimates, they're saying that if you get far enough away from, if you get close enough to the edge of the universe is actually expanding faster than the speed of light, which may or may not be true. I don't know. It sounds a bit far-fetched to me, but something that I don't think they have thought of. And I've been in correspondence with a theoretical physicist, an astrophysicist called Dr. Glenn Borchardt, and he agrees with me. He was the one that actually, he told me that he believes that because science in general doesn't believe that space is matter. They believe it's empty. So they're attributing the redshift. This is why they think that the universe is expanding, because of the redshift of faraway celestial bodies. If there's a redshift, the more the redshift, the more expansion of the universe. But this scientist says that if you take into account that space is actually matter, which is what Baba said, space is the subtlest of the 5 fundamental factors. So space is not empty, it's actually the ethereal factor, which is matter. It's the least dense of all the matter, types of matter in the universe, but still it's matter, still it has substance, it has density. So that itself could account for the redshift of the distant celestial bodies. So the degree of expansion of the universe is also in question. It could be that we're in a phase of expansion. Yes, it could be that the universe is expanding, but not to the degree that they think it is, because a lot of that redshift, a lot of that expansion that they think it is could be accounted for by the matter of space. Okay. Some more quotes from Baba. The cosmic entity, the supreme cosmic faculty, never stops his emanations in the physical, metaphysical, supraphysical, and spiritual strata. All the entities of this beginningless and endless universe are floating in the ocean of cosmic bliss. From beginningless to endlessness, the one unbroken current of pure bliss that has been flowing eternally is Brahma, the effulgent, indivisible essence of the soul. All the sound waves of this universe have their source in him. They emanate from the point of beginninglessness to the point of endlessness and will continue to emanate eternally. The creation flows from beginningless to endlessness, the one vast flow, one eternal flow of bliss, flowing from beginningless to endlessness. The unit entities have been moving around the cosmic nucleus throughout eternity. The vibration of the vast cosmic cheetah that has been flowing pauselessly through eternity is called Omkara. So here Baba is saying that although the universe is limited, it's vast but limited, it's eternal. It has been existing for eternity and will exist for eternity into the future. Here Baba refers to it as a never-ending process. It started in beginninglessness and will merge into endlessness. There will be, so that's the, so so according to Baba, there is no beginning to the start of the universe and there will be no end. Here he says there will be no total annihilation and there will be no thermal death of the universe. The universe as a whole will never cease to exist. It will remain forever. There is no such thing as total annihilation in the universe. There is evolution and there is metamorphosis, but no annihilation. So some more quotes backing up that there is no thermal death of the universe. So Baba talked about this in quite a number of times, that the universe, although each celestial body will cease to exist, for example, stars, they burn out and then they die, and more stars are created out of space. That the universe itself will not cease to exist. So that's the duration. So we talked about the size and the form of the universe, and we talked about the duration of the universe. Therefore, we live in a vast but not infinite, eternally pulsating universe. Now, the source of the universe. According to Tantric philosophy, The cosmic entity is everything. Everything exists within it, and nothing exists outside it. It is the one infinite, eternal, and intransmutable bliss. The essence of the cosmic entity is cosmic consciousness. Consciousness is the thread with which the entire fabric of existence is woven. Within that cosmic consciousness is the cosmic mind, just as our own mind exists in and of our own consciousness. So the cosmic mind, which exists as an expression of cosmic consciousness, is also infinite. Well, part of it actually is infinite and part of it is finite. The part which is directly associated with the matter of the universe is finite. So what happens is the cosmic mind imagines the entire universe, just as we can imagine anything within our minds, anything limited, that is. The human mind can only imagine something limited or cruder than itself. Just as we imagine within our own minds, the cosmic mind imagines the entire universe. The universe is a giant thought of the cosmic mind. One of the differences between the unit mind and the cosmic mind is that the unit mind can only imagine one thing at a time, but the cosmic mind imagines everything at the same time. Now, in the cosmic imagination, in the cosmic thought projection, the first factor which comes out of the cosmic mind as an expression or manifestation of the cosmic mind is, as I mentioned before, the ethereal factor or space. And then from ethereal factor or space comes gas. And then from gas comes the luminous factor. And from the luminous factor comes the liquid factor. And from the liquid factor comes the solid factor. So for example, clouds of gas form in space. We call these clouds of gas nebulae. A nebula is a cloud of, the word nebula is based on the Latin nube. I think in Portuguese, it's a similar word, right? The cloud is
Nuvem.
nube. Yeah. So a cloud of gas in space is called a nebula. And new stars, for example, form out of those nebulae. So out of the gas comes the luminous factor or stars. You can see here, for example, this is the pillars of creation, which are part of the Eagle Nebula in the Sagittarius arm of our own galaxy. Nebula, which is very close to our own solar system. And is very famous, of course. The Hubble Space Telescope views made this nebula famous. And you can see that, this is the Hubble view of the pillars of creation, which is part of that Eagle Nebula. And this is the James Webb view. So you can see the difference between the Hubble view and the James Webb view. Can you see that difference? This is the Hubble, this is the James Webb. The Hubble view is direct visual data, and the James Webb is infrared, which is extrapolated into this visual view. So you can see that actually the James Webb does provide more information because it can penetrate. You can see how it can the infrared can penetrate through the gas and dust and show more detail. But still, I prefer the Hubble view. To me, it looks better. So each factor is created as the condensation or the manifestation of the factor before it by the thought projection of the cosmic mind. So the cosmic mind is within every object, and the cosmic consciousness is also within every object because it is within the cosmic mind. Now, a celestial body will get to the stage, or may get to the stage at some point, like, for example, our own planet did, where it either explodes if the conditions for life, if the conditions are not met, it can explode, or if it maintains its structural integrity and the conditions are right for life, life can evolve on that celestial body like it did on Earth. How does life evolve out of inanimate matter? What happens is, in the solid factor, which is the crudest factor, okay, so say, for example, our own planet. It first came out of the sun as a ball of luminous gas, and then it gradually solidified. And by the way, at the same time, the moon came out of that ball of gas. And it gradually solidified. And millions of years ago, for example, it was, or billions of years ago, it was, or thousands of millions of years ago, it was a kind of a ball of lava. And then that lava, that liquid lava, gradually became solid. Rocks became the earth, the solid earth. And what happened was, what happens when life, Baba said that life comes out of the solid factor. So a small portion of that solid factor will be transformed into unit mind. For example, unicellular organisms have been found in almost suspended animation, living in the middle of rocks. Also, microbial life has been discovered 5 kilometers below the surface of the earth. So what happens is that mind comes out of the solid factor. How does it come out of the solid factor? How do you get mind out of matter? Because the mind has always been there in the form of cosmic mind, right? From the cosmic consciousness comes the cosmic mind evolves is manifested from the cosmic consciousness. Ether is manifested from cosmic mind. Gas is manifested from ether. Luminous factor is manifested from gas. Liquid is manifested from luminous factor, and solid factor is manifested from liquid. So mind is always there as the essence of the particular material factor. So unit mind comes out of the cosmic mind inherent in the solid factor when the conditions are right. And of course, that unit mind that first comes out of the solid factor is very, very primitive. So its body, the body that it attains is very primitive. So first unicellular organisms, and then gradually those unicellular organisms will evolve into multicellular organisms. So mind comes from matter, but matter originally comes from cosmic mind or cosmic consciousness. Now, regarding evolution, the evolution that we talk about in yoga and tantric cosmology, in the cosmology that Baba gave us, is not the evolution of the species. The evolution of the species, actually, the evolution of the species is not Darwinian, as Darwin said. Darwinian evolution may contribute to a small degree, but from what Baba said, evolution happens mostly by the micropsychic longing of a particular species, aided by the macropsychic desire. So that means that if a particular species really wants to develop a particular characteristic, and it has that deep urge to do so, the macrocosm or the cosmic mind will help it in doing so. And there is evidence in the DNA of particular organisms that support this, that it's not primarily Darwinian. It's actually Lamarckian, which was a crazy idea. I remember we thought it was a crazy idea when we were kids at school, but turns out it wasn't so crazy after all. I don't know if you learnt about that in school, that it was a theory in the past that Lamarck said that the giraffes evolved long necks because they really wanted to get to the juicy leaves on the trees. And because they really wanted it, it happened. We thought it was crazy, but it's actually, if you take into account that the universe is ultimately controlled by the cosmic mind, then anything is possible. So, okay, then we get the evolution of...
What
yes.
is the name you said? Lamarckian?
Lamarck. Lamarck, L-A-M-A-R-K. Lamarck was a biologist who had opposing theory to Darwin. Darwin's theory was that evolution of the species took place by random mutation. But actually, if you look at the DNA, you don't see the evidence of random mutation. You see the evidence of because there are gaps in the DNA that don't account, that do not explain random mutation, but they are in compliance with the theory of microvita being inserted into DNA at particular points in time. And another thing you don't see in DNA is, we won't go into that. Anyway, so you can look up Lamarck. The DNA thing is another thing we could talk about, but we won't now. So, okay, so the evolution that we're talking about in Tantric cosmology is not the evolution of the species. The species is like the vehicle for the individual minds. Just like the body is a vehicle for the mind, right? Well, we'll talk about that soon. But the species is also a vehicle for the collective minds. So if a mind is at a particular stage of evolutional development, it will become part of a particular species by attaining the body of that species, according to what it wants to express. So according to the Tantric cosmology, the individual minds gradually evolve as the consciousness within them expresses itself more and more within the individual mind. So, for example, unicellular organisms will become multicellular organisms. Plants will evolve into, for example, insects. Insects will evolve into, for example, amphibians. Amphibians will evolve into reptiles, reptiles into birds, birds into mammals, and mammals into human beings. That's a broad kind of definition of the different phases of evolution. And that happens so each mind evolves through different phases, through millions and millions of lives. So this brings into the this brings the concept of rebirth, reincarnation or rebirth into the equation. So as I said, just as just as the species is the vehicle for the evolution of the collective minds of a particular species, the body is the vehicle for the individual mind. Each mind attains a body which is appropriate to that which it wants to express. So by the time you get to the human stage, us as human beings, we're self-reflecting, and our psychic existence comes to the fore. That's the most important thing that we want to express. And so, therefore, we have been born with a human body. And then, according to that, the Tantric philosophy, the desire, because we're by the stage of human beings, we're self-reflective, we have the desire for the infinite. The consciousness within our minds is almost fully reflected, almost fully expressed. We just have to do spiritual practice in order to realize that we are in fact nothing other than that cosmic consciousness from which we started in the very beginning. There was a Baba said cosmic consciousness abides in the very sense of existence in one's very heart's desire. And there was a famous, a well-known Catholic priest, which I liked very much. He died a few years ago, and he was a great, I think he was a great spiritualist. He said, his name was Father Thomas Keating. He said, the beginning of the spiritual journey is the realization that there is a higher power, an other. The second step is to try to become the other. And finally, there is the realization that there is no other. You and the other are one, always have been, always will be. You just think that you weren't. So I think that's a nice way of putting that. Spiritual practice is the process of the realization that we are none other than the supreme consciousness, the cosmic consciousness from which everything in the universe started. Now, so that's the source of that's the source of the universe. Now we get on to the cyclical nature of the universe. So the whole process is a cycle from cosmic consciousness to cosmic mind to matter to individual mind, undeveloped, developed human, and then finally to advanced human mind, and then finally to cosmic consciousness again. The advanced human mind in the form of the elevated to spiritual practitioner eventually gains liberation or merger back into the cosmic consciousness. And this is called the cosmic cycle, the cycle of creation, or in Tantric philosophy, Brahma Chakra. So it's cyclical. It is a cycle, and it's also a continuum. Now, I believe that there is a misunderstanding amongst Anandamagis that because Baba gave the philosophy in the form of the cycle, right? This way. And many people think that it has a starting point in time and it has an ending point in time. But no, it does not have a starting point in time and an ending point in time. The starting point and the ending time are not dependent on time and space. They are conceptual points where at the start, the cosmic consciousness, the cosmic mind comes out of cosmic consciousness. And at the end, the unit mind goes back to cosmic consciousness. That's the same point, by the way. That's the same point. The start and the end is the same point, but it's not a point in time. It's a conceptual point where, for example, when gas is formed, when ether is formed from cosmic mind, when the space of the universe is formed from cosmic mind, it is not formed at any one point of time and place. It is a continuum. It's an ongoing process that parts of the universe are formed out of cosmic mind, while other parts merge back into cosmic mind. What are those other parts that merge back into cosmic mind? When they developed the elevated human mind that attains moksha or liberation.
On the context of this continuum, you think let's say a part of this conversion from matter to mind is going on continuously in our body, for example? Let's say part of what we eat is getting converted into ectoplasm and being used by our mind?
It could be. It could be. Of course, our unit existence is a combination of sanchara and pratisanchara. So our body, for example, the matter of our body is in the process of sanchara. And it could be that the densest part, the densest part of the solid human body, unit mind could come out of that. It's possible. I've never thought of this before, actually, but it's possible that a unicellular mind could evolve out of the solid factor in the human body as well as a rock or something like that. And then at the same time as the process of sanchara is occurring with the matter of the human body, the process of pratisanchara is occurring with the unit mind, in other words, your individual mind, and also all the individual unit minds of all the cells in your body. So the cells of your body are some of those unicellular organisms which are at the very beginning stages of pratisanchara. So it's complicated. As with everything in this world, it's complicated. Nothing is black and white. Here Baba says, every object is created in a particular stage of his imaginative flow and completed in another stage. In his eternal body, a tremendous phenomenon is constantly taking place. Endless matter is drifting in his cosmic flow. Due to the constant friction in the material body and the systolic flow of energy, unending diversity is created. Due to the variation in the nature of the systolic flow in both animate and inanimate bodies, there is increasing complexity. So life is a continuum of evolution through multiple bodies, each body the vehicle or medium of the individual mind, just as the evolution of species is the medium or vehicle for the evolution of the collective. And the process will go on indefinitely. The characteristic of the cosmic entity is infinity. It is the only infinite entity. In fact, not only infinity, but infinite happiness, perfect peace and contentment, bliss. That's why we want infinite happiness, because we're naturally attracted by the cosmic bliss. And our ultimate destiny is the infinite and eternal experience of that cosmic bliss, which is the essence of our existence. Eventual individual emancipation is inevitable for each and every one of us. So there I've gone through the nature of the universe in terms of its size and form, its duration, its, what was the next one? Its source, and the fact that it is a cyclical process in and that it is a continuum.
Dada, can I
Yes.
make a question?
Well,
When you said that like creation is eternal and there's not a beginning point, I remember somewhere Baba explained the reason why Paramapurusha decided to do the creation, to the manifested universe. He gave quite a romantic reason for that. So
yeah.
I always thought that this implied that there is a point where there was no creation, no manifested universe, and from some point in time, creation began.
Okay, good point. Good point. Well, you can see that I've given a lot of quotes from Baba where he implied that the universe is there's no point of time where it started. It's always existed. I just gave those quotes. Yes, he also said that story about, Paramapurusha was lonely and then he created the universe. I think it's just an allegorical thing. Like you tell a story to children, if children are in kindergarten, you tell them these stories and they like them. It's just an allegorical story. It's not actually, I don't believe it was actually like that. Paramapurusha was sitting like the old man in the sky, with a bed and I'm lonely, I'll create. No, it's just a way that because as human beings, we have limited understanding. So we need stories and allegories.
Okay, thank you. I had that doubt if it was like a romantic way of
as you said, like a romantic thing, like I look at it as a kind of like a children's story kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, the point here is that I think the most important point for us is that we have to really value our human existence, because we can see that we have attained this human body after millions of lives and millions of years of evolution. So it's important to really make the most of our human life, our human body and mind, in order to attain our goal. Now, there's an interesting story related to this. There's a Magi Experiences podcast run by Acharya Narada-Muni, and he interviews many different Didis, Dadas, and Magis. And he interviewed Dada Parameshwarananda. In his interview, Dada Parameshwarananda said that he was at a demonstration, and Baba told a Magi to stand up, and he instructed Dada Dasarat, who Baba had given him the power of to know. He instructed Dada Dasarat to see the past lives of this particular Magi, right? You can listen to this on the Magi, on Dada Parameshwarananda's Magi Experiences podcast. And he said, 500 million years ago, this Magi was a worm in water. 500 million years ago. That's 500 million years ago. 500 million years. So you can imagine our journey started 500 million years. Our individual mind, the evolution of our individual mind started about 500 million years ago. 250 million years ago, he was an insect in the crevice of a rock. 150 million years ago, he was a dinosaur. 25 million years ago, he was a kite eating its prey. A kite is a kind of a bird of prey like an eagle. 1 million years ago, he was a monkey in a tree. And 1,000 years ago, he was a farmer tilling his land. So you can see from that story that the speed of evolution is very slow. In the beginning, it's not much faster than the speed of the cosmic, the evolution of matter in the cosmic mind, the speed of Sanchara. And it takes literally hundreds of millions of years to attain a human body. So human life is precious. Therefore, we should use it wisely. That's the end of my presentation. I've been using my favorite space photo, the ultra deep field, the Hubble ultra deep field view. Finally, this is the Anandamurti ultra deep field view. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen now. Okay, any more questions? Did your cat want to know the answer? Was that you that wanted to know the answer or your cat?
Well, actually, he attends almost all the online classes. So
he also looks like a good student. Very attentive.
Next life, I think he'll be a human being, maybe.
Yeah, could be. Quite possibly.
Dada, can I ask something?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, if because life has things that are not perfect, I ask, is the evolution of consciousness still evoluting also? It's like if we are evoluting, if the conscious is also evoluting. I don't know.
Consciousness itself does not evolve.
No.
Mind evolves.
Okay.
Mind evolves. So the meaning of a particular mind or a particular person or a particular being evolving means that the evolution of that mind or being or person means that the consciousness within is becoming more expressed. The more expressed the consciousness within the mind, the more aware that particular entity is. For example, a unicellular organism has a very, very limited degree of awareness. It does not know where it is. It does not know anything. I'm just guessing, but I think I'm right. It hardly knows anything. It only knows that it needs to just grab something for food. That's all it knows. Then, for example, an ant is more evolved, but still the mind of the ant also doesn't have much awareness. It doesn't really know that you're there, right? It's working. It knows what it has to do, and it's working according to its own limitations, but it doesn't really know that you're there, apart from when you touch it, and then it might bite you or something. A cockroach is much more aware. You turn on the light, the cockroach is in the middle of the floor, it sees you, and it goes, oh! You know, you can tell it's a lot more aware. It's more evolved. Actually, the cockroach is an exception in the insect world. It's much more evolved than the rest of the insects, for example, I believe. Then you can see that a bird is more evolved than a reptile, a mammal is more evolved than a bird, so, or rather more aware. So it means that its evolution, the evolution of mind is greater. So the consciousness itself does not evolve, the mind evolves, which means that the consciousness within it is more expressed. Until finally, when one becomes self-realized, one realizes oneself as the cosmic consciousness is fully expressed.
Universe, cosmic poets, imagine verse, divine love is whispered words, every word belovedness, universe, song of laughter for oneness, dance of joyous existence, reverie of brilliance, foams of the world, shadows of love, of being and becoming once again, nothing ever lost, universe, universe, intimate notion of unity, infinite ocean of purity, pervaded by eternity, universe, balance of thoughts opposites, moonlit air and flow of tides, earth-spun dawns and sunsets, foams of the world, shadows of love, of being and becoming once again, nothing ever lost, universe, universe, thought projected consciousness, web of woven truthfulness, surging sea of bliss, universe, timeless path of endlessness, endless land of blessedness, ever wonderful essence, foams of the world, shadows of love, of being and becoming once again, nothing ever lost, universe, nothing ever lost, universe, nothing ever lost, universe.